Hi, welcome to Exercises in Algebra. These are short videos for topics in high school algebra. Today's lesson will be on quadratics. This is part 1 of 2. Today's lesson is on graphing a quadratic equation. Over the next 2 lessons, we're going to be talking about quadratics. Quadratic equations take the form of y equals x squared. We're going to be finding the roots, the axis of symmetry, the turning point, the vertex, whether the vertex is a maximum or a minimum, the solutions, and graphing the parabola as well. Today's lesson is on graphing a parabola. We're going to start by graphing the equation y equals x squared minus 2x minus 8. I'm going to use my graphing calculator to do this. So I'm going to turn on my graphing calculator, go to the y equals button, and type in this equation. The equation is x squared minus 2x minus 8. The x button is over here next to alpha, the xt theta n. Squared minus 2x minus 8. I'm going to push the graph button so I see what my parabola is going to look like when my problem is done. That's what my graph paper should look like when I'm completed. I'm going to get the table for these points by hitting second graph, and I've got this nice little table. Now, with a quadratic, you should notice that this point and this point are the same. And I have symmetry throughout this y column. If I do not have that, I would use the up and down arrows to change it. And then change it to make sure that that's exactly what I have. So again, I want the top number and the bottom number on my y column to be exactly the same. This number and this number. Once I have those two numbers the same, I'm going to copy this table onto my graph paper because this is going to be my work. And I've done this already. So that's the same column, the same table that I have on my graphing calculator. And I've shown that that's my work. Now I'm going to graph those points. So the point -2, 0 is left 2, up 0. My point -1, -5 is left 1, down 5. My point 0, -8 is over 0, down 8. My point 1, -9 is over 1, down 9. And then my graph turns around and comes back up again. 2, -8 is right here, over 2, down 8. And notice how it lines up with the point 0, -8. My next point is 3, -5. And my last point is 4, 0, over 4, up 0. I've now plotted the points that I need. Oops, that one's in the wrong place. Let's fix that. And now my points are all ready. I'm going to connect them into a nice swoopy parabola, putting arrows on the end. And I label with the equation y equals x squared minus 2x minus 8. Now, there's a few things about this parabola that you need to know to answer other types of questions, which is, for example, where are the roots? The roots are these points right here, where the parabola crosses the x-axis. I have a root there at -2, and I have a root here at +4. Those points are also called the solutions. My solutions are also my roots. Another point that's important to realize is where is your vertex? My vertex is this point right here. In this case, it is the point 1, negative 9. I also see that it is in the center of my table, 1, negative 9. The vertex is also known as the turning point. Notice it's where my parabola turns, changes direction, and goes back up. We can identify that it's a turning point with the word maximum or minimum. In this case, since my vertex is at the bottom of my parabola, it's called a minimum. If the vertex was at the top of a parabola, like this, then it would be a maximum. The last thing we need to know is where to find the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is this imaginary line that goes through the center of my parabola, cutting it in half, making two equal parts left and right. The equation for that line is always going to be x equals some number. Now we can see that that's x equals 1, but I can also get that information from the x value of my table, x equals 1. So those are important things to realize on your quadratic equation. Again, you should know where to find the roots, which are also called the solutions, the axis of symmetry, the vertex, otherwise known as the turning point, and whether that point is a max or a min. You can get all this information from your graphing calculator, and we will discuss those points on another lesson. Thank you for joining me. Stay tuned for more videos in exercises in algebra.